Some rivalries need no introduction. Stone Cold against The Rock, John Jones against Daniel Cormier. Different sports, different eras, but all of them produced moments people still talk about years later. Ronaldo against Messi is no different. The 2-2 at the Camp Nou, when they both scored twice. Messi's last-minute winner at the Bernabeu, holding up his shirt to the crowd. And a few months later, Ronaldo scoring at the Camp Nou and returning the favour. For more than a decade, whenever one of them did something special, the other always seemed to answer. But instead of comparing their entire careers, I want to take two seasons that for many people represent the very best of them. Cristiano Ronaldo in 07-08 and Lionel Messi in 2010-11. Both won the league, the Champions League, and were named the best player in the world. So who actually had the greater individual season? If we go back to 2007, Ronaldo was a lot different from the player he's remembered as today. He was flashy, could beat his man on the touchline, and provided much more than just in-box ability. But you could already see the start of a different Ronaldo. He became hungrier for goals, and instead of always receiving the ball to feet and trying to beat his man, he started making more runs behind the defence and getting himself into positions to finish attacks. And when United needed a goal, Ronaldo was becoming the man they looked to. We obviously still had the ridiculous free kicks. Against Portsmouth, he hit one so cleanly that David James basically stood there like a mannequin. He could still counter at devastating pace with Rooney. But more and more, Ronaldo wanted to become the player finishing the move, and United needed it. Going into the final day of the Premier League season, United and Chelsea were level on 84 points. At 0-0 against Wigan, Ronaldo scored from the penalty spot. Ryan Giggs added a second, and United were crowned champions of England. Then came Moscow. Ronaldo rose above Michael Essien and headed United in front. Lampard equalised and the game went to penalties. Then Ronaldo missed. For a few moments, Ronaldo must have thought he had thrown away the greatest season of his life. Then John Terry slipped. Edwin van der Sar saved the final penalty, and United were European champions. Ronaldo collapsed, crying. 42 goals, top scorer in England and Europe. This image is why the 2007-08 season feels so untouchable. It was the year Cristiano Ronaldo truly became the best player in the world.
There's no one player.
Thank you. Say it out your mouth.
No, there's no one player that did what he done in 2008.
The 2007-08 season felt like the arrival of Ronaldo as the world's best player. With Messi in 2010-11, everybody already knew how good he was. Pep had taken over Barcelona in 2008, and one of the biggest changes he made was moving Messi inside. By 2010-11, Messi was playing centrally, but calling him a striker doesn't really explain what he was doing. He would drop into midfield, combine with Xavi and Iniesta, and create space for players like Villa and Pedro to run into. And he was still Messi, so he could pick up the ball, turn and drive past 4 or 5 players himself. I think the 5-0 against Real Madrid might be the best example. One of the most remembered Clásicos ever, and Messi didn't even score. Madrid just didn't know how to deal with him. Mourinho has since talked about trying to create a cage around Messi. But that night, it didn't really matter. Messi kept dropping away from the defence, and Madrid's players were following him. Space opened up behind them, and he played David Villa through for 2 of Barcelona's goals. So even in a game where Barcelona scored 5 and Messi scored none of them, he was still one of the main reasons why Madrid couldn't cope. And I think this is the biggest difference between the two versions of Ronaldo and Messi. Ronaldo's threat came mainly from directly hurting you in the final phase of an attack. But with Messi, you had to worry about him in almost every phase of Barcelona's attacks. And that's what makes his numbers so ridiculous. When you place these two seasons alongside some of the greatest attacking seasons of the modern era, the difference becomes clear. In the league, Ronaldo scored 1.02 goals per 90. Even compared with some of the best seasons ever, that is an elite scoring rate. Messi was almost identical. But then you look across at the creative side. Ronaldo averaged 0.2 assists per 90. Messi was at 0.57. So Messi was scoring at almost the same rate whilst creating far more for everybody around him. More and more of United's attacks were ending with Ronaldo. But Messi could start a Barcelona move, drop into midfield, create the chance, and still be the player arriving to finish it. But there's also another interesting thing on this graph. These aren't even the statistical peaks. Move Ronaldo forward to 2014-15 and his scoring numbers become even more ridiculous. Move Messi's forward to 2012-13 and his numbers do the same. Both would eventually produce seasons that actually look better on the graph. And I think that tells us something very important. They're remembered because of what they actually achieved. If we're looking at this from a purely statistical standpoint, I think Messi has the stronger case so far. But then you look at everything Ronaldo actually won. Premier League champion, Champions League winner, Premier League Golden Boot, European Golden Shoe, PFA Player of the Year, Ballon d'Or, FIFA World Player of the Year. Ronaldo basically won everything available to him. And there's some important context behind the goal totals as well. Man United scored 110 goals across the season. Barcelona scored 152. Ronaldo scored 42. That's just over 38% of United's goals, whilst Messi scored 53, which is just under 35% of Barcelona's. So even though Messi scored 11 more goals, Ronaldo was responsible for a slightly bigger share of his team's scoring. And United's seasons often came down to moments where he had to deliver. The final day of the Premier League, the Champions League final. Messi produced more goals and assists, but Ronaldo's season was about as complete as an individual season can get. If the perfect season means becoming the best player in the world, winning your league, winning Europe, leading the continent in goals, and collecting every major individual award available, Ronaldo had basically done it. For a lot of us growing up, the Champions League is Ronaldo's playground. He's the competition's all-time top goal scorer and assist leader. So before looking at these seasons properly, this was part of the comparison where I expected Ronaldo to have the advantage. And he still had a great knockout run. He scored against Lyon, scored away at Roma, and Man United eventually got past Messi's Barcelona before beating Chelsea in Moscow. But Messi's run 3 years later was different. 2 goals against Arsenal, 1 against Shakhtar. Then came the Bernabeu. The game was goalless, and then Messi scored first. 11 minutes later, he picked up the ball in midfield and ran. Nobody could stop him. And when you isolate the knockout rounds, Ronaldo only has 3 goals, whereas Messi has 6 goals and 2 assists. And I think this tells us a very big part of the story. During their early years, Messi all around had more impact on his team than Ronaldo did. There's a case for both arguments. Ronaldo's case is how complete his season was. He led England and Europe in goals, delivered when United needed him, and finished the year with almost every major individual award. There isn't really much more he could have won. But Messi scored 11 more, created far more, and could influence games from areas Ronaldo didn't need to. And he still finished with the same 2 trophies that matter most here. Then you get to the Champions League, where I think Messi performed slightly better than Ronaldo. So if I'm choosing purely on the level of football produced across the season, I'm taking Messi 2010-11. But if you define the perfect individual season by goals, responsibility, decisive moments, and trophies, Ronaldo 2007-8 is as close as it gets to the perfect season. So who are you taking? Ronaldo 07-08 or Messi 2010-11?